I am Monkey on a Donkey, and this is my response to Dr. Jason J. Campbell's How did philosophy change your life? Good or bad? And I will try to get into the topic immediately, but I just want to say that I'm not a philosopher. I never took a philosophy course in my life, but to an extent I enjoy it. I find it challenging. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not a good reader. I'm a very slow reader, and therefore it's very frustrating for me. Try to read this huge books when they are very interesting, but it's terribly difficult for me to read, and I truly believe that it is. I try to read, but I'm just a slow reader. But anyways, how did philosophy change my life? This is my second response because I actually talked about I don't know, about 20 minutes, I guess, for the previous competition about how philosophy changed my life. So my response is kind of be related to, in general, and I'm not going to repeat myself, but it's also going to be related to the stuff that happened in the last 4 months or 5 months. Wow, 6 months actually, since the last competition. So it's been a long time. But anyways, like I said, I'm the Monkey on a Donkey, and I'm going to talk about philosophy. And a big shout out to Dr. Campbell. I watched a bunch of his videos, and I really enjoy it, and I just want to say thank you. And of course, this is for the iPad too. I want it, but hey, it's a tough competition. All right, now let me see. I have some notes here, and I'm super ADD, so it's really hard for me to focus my ideas. So I may have to refer to my notes. All right, so let's begin with philosophy. Socrates, right? That's the first philosopher. Plato and Aristotle. I just want to say at the very beginning, that this is going to be towards pretty much a biological analysis of philosophy. What do I mean by that? It means that what philosophers do, which is the pursuit of happiness, is a biological reality. Our brains are designed to try to be happy. And of course, in biology, happiness is defined with resources, which includes sexual mates, and food and shelter, and control of the troop, right? Controlling the politics, because we're social animals, right? Why are we social? Because we're not that strong, and we're not that powerful, and of course we're smart, but we cannot mess with a lion, right? So we got better stick together and invent some technology, and that's what we did. Socrates, right? Very, very, he was full of paradox in a sense, right? And I love this yin and yang in philosophy, the opposites. He was the wisest man in Greece, which knew nothing. Right? I mean, I love philosophy, man. I mean, how do these opposites create so much meaning? Right? It's just like it's something in our brain. The way we think and the way language evolved, right? We use these fancy oppositional ideas, and it's so much fun, right? So anyways, so he said he knew nothing, and he keep asking questions, right? And he pissed the powerful people off, right? He pissed them off, and they killed him. And they want him to bow, and he said, "No, I'm not gonna bow to you idiots," right? Or whatever he said, right? And he said, "You know what, just kill me." Of course they killed. Well, he drank the poison himself, right? What a suicidal nice guy. Anyways, so a lot of philosophers are going to be crazy, right? I mean, we're going to notice this, but they're very smart. I mean, you got to give it them, right? They're smart, and they want to prove us that they're smart, right? And going back to the biology, that goes back to the resources, right? In social animals like humans and most primates, right? The high status animals in the troop gets all the resources, gets to mate more and all that stuff, right? And they get to reproduce, and their offspring becomes more and more like them, right? So the animals that didn't care about status or food or sexuality disappeared, right? Most of them disappeared. And the ones that really cared about this status and sex and, resources and go-getters, we won, right? We evolved, and the others didn't. So it's that status, I think, drives philosophy, right? So, and how do you gain status? By knocking off the powerful. You do coalition, right? It's one of my favorite books, Chimpanzee Politics, by Del Valle. It's about chimpanzee politics, and they observed, a bunch of chimpanzees, and the name of the book is Chimpanzee Politics, right? Power. You knock off the most powerful guy, everybody respects you, right? That's simple. And if you can't if you can't defeat him yourself, you get allies. Okay, in Athens, right? Plato, he was from a super rich family, pretty much like what's his name? What's the president to be, or whatever? He's running for president, the Mormon guy. Man, it's kind of late, so, and I don't really care much about politics. I mean, I do, but not too much. Mitt Romney, all right. So he was kind of like Mitt Romney. He was from the richest family, one of the rich families in Athens, the oligarchy, right? And there was this crazy fight between the oligarchy people, the ones that are rich, super rich. They wanted to control versus the democracy, the poor people, right? It's like the capitalist versus the communist. And for 2,500 years, it's the same story. It's amazing. So anyways, so these people would kill, right, the Democrats, and the Democrats will kill these, people powerful, and so on and so forth. So it's all power struggle. And Socrates, I don't know much about his life, you know. Like I said, I didn't study him as a philosopher. Like, I never took courses on it, but, you know, he keep asking questions. And as a matter of fact, he thought democracy was not a good idea at all because an average person was stupid. And they were ignorant, right? And he didn't think oligarchy was, you know, the government by the elite wasn't a good idea either because they just wanted to keep their power. They didn't care about the regular people. So, of course, everything we know about Socrates was by Plato, right? So, Plato somehow doesn't want to be part of this political struggle, although he could be. But he says both of you are wrong. Both of you are wrong. The people who are for democracy are wrong, and the people who are for oligarchy is wrong, right? Dictatorship, whatever. You're wrong. I'm right. Oh my God, man! It's like in the ideological level, that's the status. You can prove everybody else is wrong. You're the king of ideas, right? So Plato is like using Socratic method and saying that all of you are full of shit. I know what I'm talking about, right? And if that's the biggest power, man. If you can deconstruct and destroy the system, like by default almost, what you propose is better. Just, it doesn't have to be better, but it's almost like that. Because you're so powerful enough to destroy the system, your system, people respect you because of your power. So what you bring about is not necessarily, doesn't have to be the best system at all. So what does he propose? He proposes that himself should be the king, right? The philosopher king. I mean, oh my God, talking about power and status and the desire of the philosopher to become powerful. Oh my God. That's what I'm talking about, right? You can't be more obvious than that, right? That you want power than Plato, right? You want to be the king. So all you rich people, you don't know nothing. All these people, average people on the street, you don't know nothing. I'm the one, right? But anyways, you know, he never gets to be the king or the king's advisor, but his student does, right? Aristotle, whatever. And what does he say? He says, Plato's full of shit. I'm the man. Oh my God, man, that's hilarious. And luckily, right, he advises the strongest man in the world, Alexander the Great, at the time, the first man to even think of, as we know it, right, as I know it, maybe I'm wrong, of world domination. And all this idealism crap from Plato, Aristotle destroys it, right? He says that's all bullshit. He has like a lot more of materialistic explanations of things, right? And like I said, I'm not a philosopher, I'm not an expert on these, but I know, like I said, I have a perspective on it, you know, and you know, it requires a lot of research to kind of, you know, make it all legit, you know, like footnotes from this book, footnotes according to this, Aristotle did this, according to this, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to do that, right? This is YouTube. It's not an academic paper. All right. So, Aristotle, right? He works for the powerful. He's not the rebellion. He's the ruler. Like, what power is that? Like, see? He got that power. He got the status, man. And, who knows how he manipulated, if he, you know, probably he did manipulate Alexander the Great for his own purposes. And it all boils down to all the status thing among humans in our civilization is all convincing, right? So, yeah, I mean, we do. We still depend on physical power, right? The bigger, the faster you are, and the more trained you are, stamina and all that. I mean, our military is still, depends on that to the most part, but it's about knowledge, right? Technology and all that, and how to control people, but it's also convincing others politically, right? Because if you can't convince people, you don't even need to fight. You don't need to waste your resources, right? You can rule them, and they'll be happy. And that's the goal, man. And that's the goal. Philosophy, right? Happiness. Just make people happy and rule them. They'll make the people want it to be ruled by you. Make them feel happy, right? The people should feel happy and feel blessed that you are ruling them. Look at you, you gracious, high status philosopher, right? Okay, convincing, right? If you're a good lawyer, you can convince. If you're one of the best lawyers, you can convince anybody of anything, right? And I love Jason J. Campbell's, right? Doctors, like all this philosophy stuff, hip-hop philosophy of hip-hop, and he keeps talking about Jay-Z and stuff. And Jay-Z sells, like, I can sell, what did he say? I can sell ice in the North Pole or something like that, right? So he is so convincing. He can convince anybody anything. That's the whole idea, right? So that's a great philosopher for you. And that's what philosophers do, right? That's what powerful people do. They convince us what is right and what's wrong. And the philosopher who doesn't like the system has to convince the rest of the people that the powerful guy is wrong, right? And that's how he gains status, by knocking off the strong guy, right? Chimpanzee politics. Trying to keep it simple, right? So convincing. So just to illustrate my point, I'm gonna give an X-rated example, right? It's probably not gonna be comfortable for some of you people, but it has a purpose of showing that people can actually argue about anything, right? So here's the idea, right? Biology, evolution. The more you reproduce, the better it is, right? The more you reproduce, your genes will be transferred to the next and next and next and next. So that's success in this material universe for a species like us, right? And to reproduce, nature doesn't care how you reproduce, right? Nature doesn't care if you cheat on your wife. It doesn't care if you kill somebody, and it doesn't, to reproduce and steal their wives, like it's been for thousands of years, right? The armies go conquer a land, and the wives are the trophies. And the children that are born are going to be more like their parents, right? So they're going to be more like their fathers and mothers, and including, thinking about the fact that the way our history has been, all these wars, and crusades and World War I and World War II, blah blah blah. The men go to war, right? The women barely, rarely, not as much. And of course, what's the what's the reward for the warrior when they come back from the war? The boom generation, right? Baby boomers, yay! They get to reproduce. And of course, it was the same way back in the history, right? And this is the part of the example that you may find offensive, and if you do, I apologize. It's nothing personal. It's just an example. Now, the universe actually would reward a rapist than a very saintly, priestly person in terms of reproducing, right? Let's say 10,000 years ago, if there were 100 men and 5 of these men were rapists and killers and murderers, and 95 of them were just non-violent and obedient and what do you say, happy, I guess, and trusting, right? Who would get to reproduce more? The murderers, who would kill all these guys, right? And rape the women. I mean, brutal stuff, right? Really dark stuff. And I love when Dr. Campbell says, let's go to the abyss. Right? Let's go to the abyss. Because that's, oh man, that's the information that blows your mind, right? Okay. So natural selection favors the rapist, right? So why do we have so many rapists today? Even though there's so many laws against rape and murder, we still have so many murder because our brain is pretty much designed, right, to kill and of course to reproduce. Okay, I'm trying to stay politically correct. Okay, so and of course we try to do anything to hide this because we're the masters of deception. We as a species are the master of deception, right? So we'll convince anybody anything. We can convince somebody in the North Pole that they should pay for ice. That's how deceptive we are and smart we are, in a sense. It's pretty much the same thing, right? Okay, so the philosopher, if it's pissed off at the system, like Foucault, a gay man who hated, I don't know too much exactly how his relationship with his father, but I know he hated his father in a sense because his father forced him to become a doctor, right? And I can pretty much kind of relate to him in that sense because I had a bunch of issues with my parents also. I felt I was forced to do things. But that's not the point. The point is he was gay, right? And society, our society, Western society, when he was born, I would say if what I know is true, right, very, very, very negative towards gay people, right? The doctors call them sick, genetically, the biologists call them genetically deformed, right? It was a sin. The priests called them like heretic. I mean, everybody, man, hate the poor gay people. And what does he do? He's smart, of course. He realizes and gets the hammer from Nietzsche, right? Nietzsche, oh my God, I love the hammer. And knocks that sledgehammer on the head of the system. And calls the king naked. Oh my God. And man, just like Socrates, just like Nietzsche, just like Foucault, man, their status is up there, right? Somebody who can do that is gonna satisfy the need for status in their brain. right? And they may starve to death. Same thing with Karl Marx, right? Man, that satisfaction of status, mental status, not status like being rich. Because so many rich people, they're rich, yes, I mean they're comfortable, but masses don't give a shit about them. They actually hate them, right? But the thing about philosopher is, I may have to think about this, but they appeal to the powerful, powerless, right? There's this, like Foucault appeals to the powerless, right? Marx appeals to the powerless. Nietzsche definitely appeals to the powerless and teaches them how to be powerful, to destroy the powerful. I mean, how contradictory can it get, right? Because they're pissed off at the powerful people, let's destroy them. And that's chimpanzee politics, right? If you knock off the most powerful guy, you become the leader. At least in our mental evolutionary psychology, right? Our brain, we love status, right? When we humiliate somebody with a joke, we feel good. And jokes do nothing but humiliation, right? But we're designed in our mind to enjoy humiliating others, right? And call me crazy, call me whatever, but I don't know many jokes that does not humiliate somebody, right? It humiliates. Most jokes humiliate a race, or a sex, or blonde people, or gay people, or, you know, Mexicans, or whatever, you know, whatever, somebody, right? Africans, Muslims, whatever. It's all about putting someone down, right? Make a joke about Obama, right? It's gonna put him down. So we enjoy putting people down. Actually, we're all bulliers in that sense, right? Bullying is just a little bit extreme form of it. So we love putting people down, man. Anyways, and that's how we gain status, right? And that's how we feel happy, because the whole game, natural selection, was designed, right? The more status you have, the more power you have, the more you get to reproduce. And the more you get to reproduce, right? Your kids gonna do the more of the same, and then the more successful your kids are, they're gonna do the same. And the same and the same, so the more passive people who don't try to excel are going to disappear from Earth, right? I mean, that's the idea of natural selection. You may not believe in it, but that's the idea. Okay, so convincing. Going back to convincing. So a good lawyer can convince that a saint is a horrible person, or a good person can make the worst criminal look like a public servant. I mean, that's the power of convincing, right? And the philosopher is amazingly good at this. That's the weapon he has, right? The philosopher. And but the reality is, and this is my personal opinion, right? And that's Omar Khayyam. That's my favorite poet, Iranian poet who lived in, I believe, in 11th century, 12th century, and in Iran, in Persian Empire, or Persia. And Omar Khayyam has a couple of poems that I really enjoy, and more than a few. And one of them says, "Nobody knows anything. they just pretend they know something, right? And that's like, damn, man, talking about the hammer. So, okay, so what does the philosopher say? Okay, Socrates says, hey, I don't know shit, man. Tell me about it, right? What is justice? Oh, justice is... Okay, I wrote this down. Justice is the virtue of the soul. Wow, that's deep stuff, right? First of all, what the hell is the soul? Okay, but the philosopher makes these big statements, right? I mean, they're full of this. So, what is soul? I mean, we don't even know. You can write books of what a soul is. Okay, let's say we know what soul is. What is virtue? And, if you follow Dr. Campbell's Nietzsche series, we know virtue is just a way to control people, right? It's a way of controlling. And justice. And what is justice? Right? We can talk about this universal justice or natural justice, whatever you want to talk about. But the bottom line is these are all subjective stuff. So nobody really knows what justice is. The justice could be that if you're powerful, you have the right to rule others. And a lawyer can convince you of that. Or justice could be the fact that the weak one has a right just like the strong one. Right? I mean, we can make a very good argument of that also. And both of them could be right. You can say, hey, if somebody's better than the another, they deserve more. Or you can make an argument and say, hey, we're all human. We all have rights, right? We all should be the same. And, there's a lot of people who believe in both. And I'm not saying one is right, one is wrong. I'm just saying you can make an argument, in a sense, that rape is good. Why? Because natural selection selected rapists for centuries, right? Murderers and rapists. So there must be something good about it. It's a valid strategy. It's been a valid strategy. And to this day, most animals, like lions, I mean, just give you a few examples. Gorillas, right? When they go, when the males come to the troop, they, with violence, make a coup, right? They kill or whatever the ruler, and they become the ruler themselves and get all the women, right? Pretty much enslave them. And the women go hunt and they eat the food. So violence pays off. It's good. The violent societies, right, in the past, they formed empires and, they ruled people. So killing, you can argue, right, that killing is a good thing if you're the one who's doing the killing. Of course, philosophers, they won't say things this honestly, truthfully. Why? Because what's their goal? To get rid of the powerful, and that includes deceit. That includes allies, right? Allies in the very powerless class. And Jesus did the same thing, right? I mean, Jesus, in his mind, gave power to the have-nots. Pretty much what Karl Marx did, right? Or what the communists wanted to do. I don't know much about Malcolm X, but right? I mean, all these like great philosophers, Mahatma Gandhi, they wanted to give the have-nots the power. And what did the have-nots did to them? They exalted them, right? Why? Because it actually organized them, made them see something. So it's all about power, right? And the philosopher is the guy who empowers you, right? But it can go the other way too, right? Just like Dr. Campbell says, the religion, the priests, were the original philosophers, and they used the people, and they enslaved them mentally and physically, in a sense. And so pretty much try to gather my thoughts, right? The philosopher is way more ambitious than a scientist, right? Yeah, scientists, they want some status too. They want to be recognized for their dedication and hard work and knowledge and this and this. But the philosopher is playing with the powerful, right? They're messing with the minds of the masses and the rulers. So it's very powerful stuff, man. I mean, it's you got to give to these people. I mean, like Plato, right? Being able to go and tell the people who like democracy, you guys are wrong, and the ruling people, the senators, and whatever, the rich people, you guys are wrong, and I'm right. You should make me the king because I'm a philosopher. Man, you gotta be pretty smart to be able to do that, and you gotta be very convincing, and that's what I like, right? You gotta be convincing. And okay, so this I'm right, you're wrong. What's good? What's evil? The most wisest man is the bearer of no wisdom, right? The yin and yang. And, it's this opposites, right? It's our brain is just so much fun. I like philosophy too, right? It's challenging, but it helps you understand things, or just makes you understand that you don't know anything, right? So bottom line is, something that is good for someone is bad for someone else. Okay, here's my notes. So some rape in a naturalist biological sense, right? In animal kingdom, especially, it's kind of a taboo to talk among humans about rape. But I would say in the animal kingdom, you would say most of the sex, there's rape involved, right? In a sense, because forcefully, violently, the males, they come and take the women. Sex and violence, right? Sex and violence, punk stuff, right? Sex and violence. All right. So something that is good for someone is bad for someone else, right? For example, cheating. Let's say there's a married couple, and the wife cheats on the husband, and she gets pregnant from a super smart, handsome guy, super rich, right? Super rich guy. So beautiful genes, right? Perfect for the wife. And all his life, the husband wouldn't know about this, right? And feed and give food and shelter to this baby, thinking that it's his baby, right? Well, this is good for that rich guy, because biologically speaking, he did something very successful with deception, right? So, I mean, the language is such a flexible instrument. It can convince you of anything, right? You can write a book and say communism is the best thing in the world because of this, and this. And then you can write a book, very convincing book, trashing communism. You know, saying that this is horrible. And that's why I like philosophy. You know, it's the power of convincing. And the facts, what facts? In the world of ideas, there are no facts. It's all subjective, right? If you say you don't like red, you don't like red. That's it. Who can argue with you on that? See what I mean? In a very egoistic way. Because, you know, if you think blue is better than green, blue is going to be better color than green. Right? There's no argument in most of these things, right? I mean, you can argue and argue and argue for centuries, right? Which one's better? Oligarchy or democracy? We've been arguing that for 2,500 years, right? Both of them, and then of course the philosopher king, right? Philosopher says I should be ruling. The rich people says the rich people should be ruling, and the people says we should have power. So everybody wants power. What the hell? It's all about power, and it's all about who can convince who and who can get control over who, and who can get more power and you know, share the resources, right? Because we animals want resources to reproduce, and that's what natural selection did to us, right? So what did going back to the original question, what did philosophy did for me? To be honest with you, life doesn't have a meaning for me. Like, you know, what's the meaning in life? I don't know. More like Socrates, right? I don't know. Yeah, I have impulses and I have things. I like to do things and, you know, but as an overall system, the universe, it doesn't make sense to me, right? The meaning, when I read religions, I get bored. I mean, like punishment and rewards, like boring stuff, right? And I know it's really powerful stuff for trillions of people. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm above this. No, I'm not above this. I'm just saying it's too boring, and I know this already, right? It's you know, heaven and hell. Why should I be scared of hell, right? I mean, it's funny because if I know I'm not gonna die and I'm in hell, how the hell would that be like, you know, it's just counterintuitive, right? Hell, you know, pain is for survival, right? Like, if you hurt your hand, it's because your body is telling you, hey man, you're getting cut. You better stop this, because if you don't, you're going to lose your hand and you can bleed to death. So it's pain. It has a lot to do with life and death. Now imagine I'm in the hell and I know I'm immortal. There's nobody can do nothing about it, and I'm going to live forever. And you think I'll feel pain? Are you kidding me? There is no pain, because pain is related to death. That's the way it is in our biological system, right? Pain is is a way of your body to protect you from death. Now, if I'm immortal, there is no pain. So let's go to hell. Right? It's just going to be fun. But anyways, right? I have some weird ideas for maybe some of you. It's going to be like, who is this guy? But, you know, you can just turn off the camera. You can turn it off. You don't have to listen to the rest of this. But what I want to say is that I like the philosophers because they're smart. They're very deceitful. So they train you to be a better deceiver. And they also train you how to detect deception. And, you know, because they're so smart, to show off how smart they are, they gotta make you smart, because that's the only way you will recognize how smart they are. I mean, it's crazy, man. I love this. It's so smart that it's like craziness, right? And the only way Foucault can make you understand how smart he is to show you how smart he is. But in order for you to see how smart he is, he needs to make you smarter. And that's to me, it's just those guys deserve status. You know what I'm saying? It's like sacrifice, right? Talking about sacrifice, status, and those guys did get the status by knocking off the most powerful. And to me, it's all about evolution and biology, and that's resources and power and status, right? It's pretty much where I am right now. And I want that iPad, Dr. Jason J. Campbell, and I'm gonna give it to my wife. She deserves the best. You know what I mean? She wanted an iPad for 2 years, and I know this last bit is not gonna influence your decision. I mean, I'm just saying, my personal, I want it. Right? I'm not doing this for selfless, what do you say, motives, right? Selfless motive, right? Motive is very selfish. But see, philosophy, I love this contradiction, right? Selfless motives. And, man, I feel lucky that I found Dr. Jason J. Campbell's website. He introduced me to many great philosophers. I learned a lot. And I hope that some of you, including Dr. Jason J. Campbell, will learn at least one thing from this video. Whatever that is, right? I hope this is not a waste of time for you guys. It's all about sharing, right? It's all about ego. It's all about keeping it real. And keep it real. Keep it gangsta.